Welcome to another video. Today we are doing a reading vlog of somebody's favorite books. I had this idea myself organically without ever having seen anybody else do it. However, now that I've done it and started it, the process of it, I have seen other people do it. So not an entirely original idea, but I did not steal it from anybody else. And I would encourage you to go check out those videos as well if you enjoy mine. I had this idea while I was watching the Shayne Guesses series on Smosh. I think it's on Smosh Games. I relatively recently started watching Smosh about a year ago-ish, I think, shortly after the April Fool's incident. If you know, you know, because I just everybody was talking about it and I wanted to know who these people were that they were talking about. Shocking that I never watched Smosh before, not regularly at least. I'm sure I probably came across a few of their videos over the 15 years I've been on YouTube, but I was never subscribed to any of their channels. I never watched any of them regularly until last year. So I was watching the Shayne Guesses series and they did this one that's We Guess Shayne, and I decided I'm gonna read some of his favorite books because obviously that's what I do. I read on YouTube. That's my thing. He says he's a reader and he enjoys reading. He loves reading. So I figured there's probably some good books in there. So I'm not sure if this will end up being like a series and I do this for other people, other influencers or internet personalities or whatever YouTubers, whatever you want to call them. I'm not sure if I'll do it again. I'm not sure if I'll do it for more of them, but it could definitely become a series. Could be fun. I wanted to also use this as a way to get out of my comfort zone a little because I figured Shayne doesn't seem like a romance type. I was right. Not like a romance reader. Not to say he doesn't read books with romance in them, but I mainly read romance and I want to read more varied genres this year. That's a big goal of mine this year. So I have 3 books that I'm going to read in this video. I've already finished one. I'm halfway through another as I'm filming this. So the 3 books that I'll be reading in this vlog are Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, which was in his top 3, Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami, which is also in his top 3, and The Three-Body Problem by Cixin Liu, which was not in his top 3. But I knew I was only going to read 2 of the top 3 books because one of them is Game of Thrones, and I don't want to read that. I'm just not really a fantasy book kind of girl. I don't have very much fantasy. I don't read very much fantasy. I didn't want to force myself to read it, and I didn't want to have that put me in a reading slump or make me never post this video, because I'm really excited about posting this video because I think it's fun to read other people's favorite books. So the first book I'm reading is Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. It's time for a reading check-in. I am exactly halfway through Song of Achilles, and I can tell you right now that I know it's going to devastate me, but I'm ready for it. I have technically been reading this for 2 or 3 weeks at this point, 2, almost 3 weeks, because I got it from the library, but it's due tomorrow. So I have to finish it today. It's about 1:40 p.m. and I'm doing reading sprints with some friends on Discord. One of them just sent, oh, would you rather drop your favorite book into a toilet or watch it fall into a wood chipper? Anyway, I'm doing reading sprints with some friends on Discord for the next hour or so. So hopefully I'll get some good reading done. My Kindle says I have about 2 hours left in the book. I am loving it so far. I don't think I said that, but I know that it'll be devastating. There's been a couple of quotes that I'm like, oh, and I sent one to one of my friends who I know has already finished the book. She said she was sobbing at the end. So I'm prepared to film a clip of me sobbing later today. I'll see you then, probably. Probably won't check in until I'm done. I'm not ready. Welcome back to another reading check-in. It is still the same day, even though I'm in different clothes. This is the sweatshirt that I've been wearing just around the house. I changed to be a little more comfy. During reading sprints that I was talking about, I read about 13% more of the book. I got to about 63%. And in the about 2 hours since then, I have gotten to 82%. I'm about to start chapter 29, which means I have about 5 chapters left. According to my Kindle, that's about 43 minutes for me. So I figured I would check in now, and then as I go into the last chapter or two, maybe I'll check in again. I don't know. Still loving it. It's going to be a 5-star read, I think. So, yeah, I'll check back in a little bit. I had to take a minute to gather myself, gather my thoughts. Yeah, that last couple of lines really hits, huh? It's really devastating. I knew what I was getting myself into when I started this. I just didn't realize that Madeline Miller was going to be able to do it that devastatingly. I am going to be thinking about this book for a long time. I think I can see why this is in Shayne's. I think this one is in his top 3. Yeah, so Song of Achilles is going to get 5 stars for me, obviously. Even though it is devastating, I would recommend if you're in the mood to be devastated a little bit. I'm sure at some point I'll be able to string together a coherent thought about this book, but for now all I can say is 5 stars. Maybe look up trigger warnings if you have any. It's just so beautifully written, and I can't, I feel like I can't string together a good coherent thought. I feel like I've been saying the same thing over and over for 7 minutes at this point. But yeah, I guess that's it. On to the next book. Hello, let's get into reading another book. I'm going to read The Three-Body Problem by Cixin Liu. I'm going to start this today. It's currently almost 7 p.m. So probably won't finish it today, even though the goal was to read a whole book this weekend. I have instead wasted my entire weekend away, but rest is necessary. So hopefully I will be able to read a decent amount of this today. I think I'll be able to read it. If not tonight, depending on how late I decide to stay up, then almost certainly tomorrow. Yeah, let's just get right into reading Three-Body Problem. If anyone knows if this is a reference to Rachel Carson's The Silent Spring, please let me know, because that's where my mind immediately went. You guys, Silent Spring by Rachel Carson. I freaking called it. It was only page 26, so please don't think I'm spoiling anything. I still don't really know much, but I called it, and I'm so proud of that. I just finished The Three-Body Problem by Cixin Liu. Despite the fact that I am in the same sweatshirt I was wearing when I started reading the book, it has been a couple of weeks. This took me so long to read. I just could not get into it. I have read multiple romances in the interim, trying to motivate myself to read more, but I pushed through. We got through it, and now I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. So I gave it, I think 3.5 or 3.25 stars on Storygraph. I know that this is a popular book and that a lot of people really like it, and I don't like not liking things that a lot of people like. I love being able to chat with people about things that we all enjoy, you know? I'm a little disappointed that I don't like it as much as I thought I would. Sorry for changing the settings, the setting and the lighting. It was just, my camera doesn't want to focus on me today. My issue, I think, with the three body problem was just, it is so much technical jargon. And this is coming from somebody who took a lot of science classes. I have a science degree. I have a bachelor's in science, but it's not the same kind of science that they're often talking about here. Although you already saw that I immediately clocked that Silent Spring, part 1, Silent Spring, was a reference to Rachel Carson's book, Silent Spring, which is a book about pesticides, DDT specifically, and it is largely credited with it started a lot of environmental movements, and it was just used as a reference for a lot of environmental activists and environmental movements and such. That was cool. I was proud of myself for catching that. And then later in the book, there's more references to environmental activism and environmental justice specifically. I didn't really know what to expect going into this book. I knew there were aliens and that the three body problem was going to play a big part in it because it's literally the name of the book, but I did not know really anything else, and I'm kind of glad that I went into it that way. I just wish that I had been able to get past the technical jargon a little bit and that I had been able to get into it. I think it's well written, obviously. It's like a critically acclaimed book, and I think it was good. I think it's just not for me. It just took me forever to read it, and I couldn't really get into it. Now that I finished that, we are starting reading sprints on Discord in about 2 minutes. And I am going to hopefully start Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami. Another one that I don't really know all that much about. I'm actually probably going to be reading it on my Kindle because I have both the physical and digital copies, and I've just been in a Kindle kind of mood. I don't know if y'all understand that. I don't know if you get that. I've just not holding a book physically has not been for me the last couple of weeks. I don't know why. So I'm glad that I have it on my Kindle as well. I'm going to start that, and I will possibly check in halfway through. I know I didn't check in during Three Body Problem. That's because I was having such a hard time getting through it that if I checked in, I could very well have just been like, I'm DNFing it. Let's get into Norwegian Wood. Hi. It's time for a reading check-in for Norwegian Wood. I was gonna do a 50% check-in and then a final check-in, but my 50% check-in will be my final check-in. I cannot finish this book. Like I said, about 50% of the way through. I just hate it so much. That's not really fair. It's beautifully written. The author is definitely a very good writer, but his characters, I hate all of the characters. And the main character, the narrator, it's in first person. The narrator is so boring, and I can't. I can't read. It's from his point of view. I can't read that. And the way that he talks about women and sees women is problematic and gross. And the way that sex is talked about in this book is just weird. It's brought up so many times unnecessarily in the first half, and it takes me out of it every time. I could be in it and feeling for our main character, and then the way that he talks about women and sex just pulls me right back out of it and makes me not want to read the book. And I knew beforehand, going in, that a lot of people do find Haruki Murakami's writing misogynistic. So I was prepared for that. I just wasn't prepared for the author to be so boring. And so in my notes, I said literally, why does he include so much sex or so much talking about sex so descriptively? I'm not against sex in books. I read romance that has open door scenes. It's the way that it happens in this book and the way that it's talked about and described that's just it's off-putting. And the way that he talks about women and sees women, he barely sees them as real people, is how it feels. I'm well aware that maybe I'm just not the target audience and I'm just not understanding the book, the point of the book. Maybe I would if I read the rest of it, but according to my Kindle, I have 3 hours left and I'm sorry. I don't want to spend those 3 hours reading this book. I really don't. I have other books I want to read and other stuff I want to do. I can't do it. But I looked up other reviews to make sure I wasn't alone in this, and I would just like to read a couple of the ones that I screenshotted. So one of them says, I had heard such great things about this book, and at times I really loved the honest pain articulated by the author, but at other times it reminded me of those write a porno exercises we tried in our youth. Maybe I'm becoming a prude in my old age. Another one is, I feel as though it's supposed to be deep, but I just heard the author voicing his opinions through the mouthpieces that were his characters. That and mostly gross sex stuff. Enjoyment 0 out of 5, quality 4 out of 5. And then Haruki Murakami never fails to write a bland, boring male lead. At least I know it's not just me. It's not so bad that I would like hate on anybody who reads it and likes it. Obviously, I try not to do that ever, but it's not like so problematic that I would do that. I'm not gonna like cancel anyone for liking it, you know? To each their own. It's just absolutely not for me, and I cannot force myself to finish this book. It will put me in a reading slump and I will never be able to read anything. Again, that's dramatic. I won't be able to read for like a few weeks, a month, and I can't do it. I would love to hear thoughts from people who did really love the book about why they loved it and the themes and such that they saw in it that I'm probably missing because I can't get past certain things that are really bothering me about the book. With that being said, that is the last book of the video. So that's all I've got for you. Sorry to end it with a DNF, but I try not to be picky about what I'm DNFing. If I'm not enjoying a book, most of the time I will DNF it. I thought about it during Three Body Problem because I was just having such a hard time getting into it, but that was more because of the mood that I was in than the book itself. I enjoyed the book itself, especially looking back at it now after trying to get through Norwegian Wood. I enjoyed the Three Body Problem and I wanted to keep reading it. I wanted to know what happened. I don't care what happens to these characters in Norwegian Wood at all. Anyway, rant aside, that is all I have for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if there's anybody else that you would like to see me read their favorite books and hear my thoughts on their favorite books. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a like if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more of my face, and I will see you next time. Love you, bye.